Tonight on West Dakota Fox News at 9, a chopper crash caught on camera. Plus, another presidential visit could be in our forecast. But first, the dog days of summer are over, and it's back to school for K through 12.
This is West Dakota Fox News at 9 with Molly Martinez and meteorologist Henry Blakes. Your first news of the night starts right now on West Dakota Fox News at 9.
Good evening, I'm Molly Martinez. Well, it's a day filled with jitters that many teachers say comes way too fast. We're talking about back to school. Opening bells rang across the state, including in Dickinson, where there have been a lot of changes over the summer. There's a new elementary school and a new superintendent. Berg Elementary is open for kindergarten through 4th grade this year and will add 5th grade next year. The superintendent says Berg's opening will have a long-term impact.
Some smaller class sizes across the entire district. It brings back a great purpose for a building. This building will be a good elementary school for a long time now.
Dickinson has 6 public elementary schools, 1 middle school, a high school, and a community high school. A new addition to Mandan Middle School is causing excitement on the first day. You can find 10 new classrooms and 1 new teacher in the new wing at MMS. There's also some new technology that is compatible with devices they already have. Education reporter Cynthia McLaughlin took a look at the new wing.
One of my strengths in this subject area is
Smart boards out, TVs in. Just one of the many new additions at Mandan Middle School.
The image that we get from it is so sharp that no matter where you are in the room, you're able to view it.
It's great. Fun to be in a new space. The technology is really great. Kids are excited. The space is nice. My room's a little bit bigger than it was last time. 10
new classrooms to accommodate the growing Mandan Public School District. This year, 77 more middle schoolers are enrolled than last year.
It turned out tremendous. 10 new classrooms were added, and they're all full already. Our enrollment jumped from last year, and this was perfect planning, and it happened at the right time.
They're beautiful. The new classrooms are really nice. We're filling it up though right away. I mean, it was needed, but they did a great job on construction and design, and they're ready for kids.
By adding more classrooms, teachers have about 50 fewer students on their team.
It's almost a smaller school within the school.
Teachers say even students that aren't in the new classrooms still come by to check out the space.
Also in Mandan, the kindergarten teachers at Mary Stark Elementary School will have double the fun. 58 more kindergartners have enrolled this year compared to last year. The principal says where each class usually has about 16 students, this year each has 24. Several new teachers have joined the ranks at Mary Stark this year as well. In Bismarck, to celebrate back to school, Century Baptist Church is collecting snacks for students. Those snacks will go to kids in need at BHS, Simley, and South Central High School. It started as a food pantry and collecting meals for students, but Pastor Paul Herr says the program expanded once they realized there was another need.
Many of these kids are coming to school and they have nothing to eat during the school day. A number of kids come and they've got their snack because they bring a snack from home. But there's a segment of the community of students who don't have anything.
The church collects the snacks 4 or 5 months out of the year for the program. All right, Henry, how's our back-to-school weather looking?
Right now, so far, so good.
Well, a 68-year-old man was injured in a rollover crash earlier this afternoon in Mandan. He was traveling northbound on Highway 1806 when he struck an approaching car and rolled over after losing control of his vehicle. The driver sustained serious injuries and was taken to Sanford Hospital. The crash is still under investigation. The Department of Transportation is putting together a plan for statewide transportation. That includes biking, walking, busing, and driving.
A policy-oriented plan that talks about goals for the next 10 years for things like active and public transportation. But there's going to be kind of a design component which includes some of these concepts around the bike network and those kinds of things.
The DOT is opening up an online survey for public feedback. You can find a link to it on our website, yournewsleader.com. Well, one of the last high-profile Dakota Access Pipeline protesters just reached a plea deal for a reduced sentence. Chase Iron Eyes will serve 1-year probation and have to pay an $1,800 fine. He's accused of inciting a riot during those protests. With this plea deal, he faces the lesser charge of disorderly conduct and will avoid jail time. The new oil refinery planned near Theodore Roosevelt National Park is facing sharp opposition. The Environmental Law and Policy Center and Dakota Resource Council filed a request yesterday asking the commission to investigate the refinery's capacity. Their air quality and local zoning permits are also being changed. A new deputy chief of support services is taking over at the Bismarck Police Department. Lieutenant Jason Strugelmeyer got promoted after 18 years of faithful service to the BPD. He's replacing Dave Dreyevich, who was promoted to chief of police last month. And President Trump is planning another visit to our great state. Sources say over the next 6 weeks, he's expected to visit North Dakota, South Dakota, Missouri, and Montana. Though it was not stated whether his visits are in support of any person in particular, the president is planning on holding at least 8 rallies and 16 fundraisers throughout the country before Election Day. Meantime, the White House is distancing itself from former members of Trump's inner circle after yesterday's high-profile pair of guilty verdicts for firmware staffers. Ray Bogan reports.
The president has done nothing wrong.
The White House on the offensive, engulfed in controversy after Monday's twin convictions. Paul Manafort, who once chaired Trump's campaign, found guilty of fraud. The president's old fixer, Michael Cohen, pleaded guilty to federal felony charges.
Just because Michael Cohen made a plea deal doesn't mean that that implicates the president on anything.
In court, Cohen admitted to breaking the law and says then candidate Trump ordered him to pay hush money to 2 women, Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal.
If Michael Cohen, with the prosecutors in New York agreeing, admitted to that, then certainly Donald Trump is guilty of the same crime.
The president has acknowledged the payment, but says it didn't come from any campaign accounts.
But they didn't come out of campaign. In fact, my first question when I heard about it was, did they come out of the campaign? Because that could be a little dicey.
Mr. Trump also tweeting his disdain for Cohen while expressing sympathy for Manafort, leading to questions about a possible pardon.
The president certainly seems to be planting the idea that he'd be open to a pardon. That's a big deal.
Well, the Federal Tax Cuts and Jobs Act may have reduced federal taxes for many North Dakotans. A state analysis shows that individuals are expected to pay more in state income tax. On the other hand, small businesses and corporations are projected to pay less. Tax Commissioner Ryan Rauschenberger says individual taxpayers will see mixed results, although overall they will pay an additional $4.8 million to the state. Companies are projected to pay nearly $10 million less, resulting in the state collected nearly $5 million less from the current biennium. After the break, 2 toddlers mysteriously drowned. Tonight, their father is under arrest. We'll show you what witnesses say he did. The search for the missing University of Iowa student Molly Tibbetts coming to a tragic end after police locate her body Tuesday. Today, her accused killer making his first court appearance. Fox News correspondent Willie James Inman has the latest from Iowa City.
At one point, he tells us that Molly grabbed a hold of her phone and said, "You need to leave me alone. I'm going to call the police." And then she took off running. He in turn chased her down. And then he tells us that at some point in time he blacks out, and then he comes to near an intersection in which we believe he then placed Molly.
Do you have anything to say for yourself? Are you sorry?
24-year-old Christian Rivera appearing in an Iowa courtroom Wednesday, charged in the kidnapping and murder of University of Iowa student Molly Tibbetts. The 20-year-old went missing while jogging in the city of Brooklyn on July 18th, prompting a massive month-long search. On Tuesday, Rivera told police he followed Tibbetts in his car while she was out jogging that July morning and eventually got out to run beside her. He went on to reveal that he put Molly's body inside his trunk before burying her underneath corn husks in a nearby field.
An oil field in southern Texas goes up in flames. This was the scene yesterday afternoon. Police say multiple tank batteries burst into flames at the Whitewater Resource Salt Water Disposal well in Atacasta County. No one was hurt. The cause of that fire is under investigation. In Indiana, a father is under arrest after his 2 sons mysteriously drown in the Kankakee River. 34-year-old Eric Patillo has been charged with 2 counts of preliminary child neglect. The boys have been identified as 4-year-old Levi Patillo and 2-year-old Evan Patillo. Witnesses called 911 after they saw Eric Patillo acting strangely. Police are also looking for Jesse Lintner, who was seen taking one of the boys out of the water. Prosecutors will determine if Patillo will face formal charges in his son's death. And a police helicopter pilot suffers serious injuries when his chopper crashes. The scary scene was caught on surveillance video in Little Rock, Arkansas last week during a maintenance check. Police officials say the pilot was testing new equipment when a straight-line wind knocked the helicopter off the platform. He struggled to get control, but the chopper turned to the side before one of its landing skids hit the platform, causing the aircraft to roll over and crash. The pilot is reported in stable condition with severe head injuries. And right on the heels of one natural disaster, Hawaii is preparing for another powerful punch from Mother Nature. Hurricane Lane is currently barreling towards the islands. Residents are rushing to stores to stock up on bottled water, flood, and other supplies as the powerful storm closes in. Hurricane Lane is expected to bring heavy rain, potentially damaging winds, and high surf as it churns towards the Big Island. Man, Henry, Hawaii cannot catch a break.
Yeah, it's been quite the year for the
volcano and now this.
Yeah, now the hurricanes, and yeah, they just can't catch a break, and the wind and the storm surge and flooding is going to be the main issue.
Today in Minot, the third annual Women United Luncheon was a sellout, with roughly 250 women in attendance. Attendees not only learned more about the organization, but also were treated to a special guest speaker. Here are some other highlights.
Good afternoon, ladies.
Only 27 members make up Minot's Women United chapter, but they managed to pack the house to share their message of community service and female empowerment.
Not being a member of Women's United Way, I'd like to find out more about that, maybe the different activities that they do. And we're also a fan of Amy and her show.
Amy Roloff from TLC's Little People, Big World helped spread that message by bringing the crowd together through shared obstacles women face every day.
We can often get caught in our own little environment, but we often have to look outside of that and realize, you know, what you do and what you can offer, whether it just be listening to someone or something else, is of value.
Women United said they hoped this event would bring more interest in joining the group.
We're going to tell about our group, make sure people know about us, and try to get more members if we can, because the more members we have, the more money we have, and the more impact that we have.
Strengthening the bond between women in the Souris Valley.
Welcome back. I just wanted to introduce the newest member of our West Dakota Fox team. This is Anna Schleisman. Anna, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I am originally from Rolla, North Dakota, and I spent a couple of years in California, then Oklahoma City, and now back to the great state of North Dakota.
I'm sure your parents are thrilled about that.
Oh my goodness, they want me home every weekend. You know how it goes.
They just keep pulling you back.
Yeah. Oh yes, oh yes.
Well, we are thrilled that you're here. We're
you.
So excited to see more of you here on West Dakota Fox, and we hope that we do see a lot more of you here. After the break, surprising results from a new study about self-esteem. You'll never guess which age you feel best about who you are. Well, if you didn't get drawn for a deer license yet this year, there's still hope. Over 1,000 licenses are still available on a first-come, first-served basis as the North Dakota Game and Fish Department get ready for their second lottery drawing. These are only available online at the website beginning on September 6th. That website is the Game and Fish Department website for North Dakota. And a new study finds South Dakota and North Dakota teens have the highest rates of texting in driving in 35 states analyzed. The Journal of Adolescent Health says 64% of teens in South Dakota acknowledged texting and driving at least once in the previous month. And North Dakota was second at 58%. Maryland was the lowest at 26%. The results were compiled from more than 100,000 high schoolers who took the 2015 Youth Risk Behavior Survey. The study says distracted driving increases the risk of crashing by up to 9 times. So you might want to talk to your teens about that. And we may live in a youth-obsessed culture, but researchers say some things do get better with age. A study published online in advance of publication in the Psychology Bulletin finds age 60 seems to be about the highest point for a person's self-esteem. Those positive feelings appear to stay at their peak for the entire decade. Study authors say midlife is a time of highly stable life circumstances where adults can invest in themselves, which might promote self-esteem. Over to a man with wonderful self-esteem and high esteem from his colleagues as well, Henry Blakes.
Thank you. We've got nice weather across the viewing area.
Hey, good deal. Thanks for joining us, and I'll see you tomorrow.